CDL or CDL holder can also be disqualified from driving a commercial motor vehicle if they are convicted of an offense while driving a commercial motor vehicle or your personal vehicle. So, for example, if you're qualified, that's the key word. So the different categories of how a driver can be disqualified is any major offenses, any serious traffic violations, out of service violations, and railroad highway grade crossing violations. So in other words, if you are convicted by a judge or a hiring authority stating that you have committed these disqualifications, then you will be disqualified. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, the major offenses, if you're convicted of these offenses while driving a non-CDL vehicle, or if you're driving a CDL vehicle, you will be disqualified if you are under influence of drugs, if you refuse to take an alcohol test and drug test, if you're driving a commercial motor vehicle when your license is revoked or suspended or canceled, if it caused a fatality due to negligence on your behalf of driving a commercial motor vehicle, if you're leaving the scene of an accident, if you're committed of a felony, if you're using CMV in a commission of human trafficking, or if you're using a commercial motor vehicle involved in controlled substances or any illegal activities, you will be disqualified for 1 year if it's a first offense, and you'll be disqualified for life if it's a second offense. So that is crucial to remember, that these major offenses is dangerous. So remember to keep in mind the serious traffic violations. If you're disqualified from driving a commercial motor vehicle, if you are convinced of 2 or more of the following traffic violations while driving a CMV or commercial motor vehicle. So driving without obtaining or having a CDL license, driving a CDL without the proper class of CDL or endorsements, texting or using mobile phones while driving a commercial motor vehicle, if you're successfully speeding, usually which is more than 10 or 15 miles an hour above the posted speed limit, if you're making improper or erratic lane changes, reckless driving, following a vehicle too closely. These are some of the serious traffic violations that you can be pulled over for and will have serious consequences on, such as violating state or local laws that relates to the motor vehicle traffic control, or any other parking violation that will connect to a fatal accident. So if you're disqualified, then that means the period for 2 convictions, meaning that the judge find you guilty of these violations. If you're convicted, 2 convictions in a 3-year period, that means it will be 60 days of you being disqualified. And if it's 3 convictions in a 3-year period, then you'll be disqualified for 120 days. So that will be 4 months without driving or operating a commercial motor vehicle. Now, other services violations, like a law enforcement officer, such as police officer, DOT, they can place you out of service. And this usually happens either at a weigh station or during roadside inspections. So if you're convicted of violating an out of service order, then you'll be fined and or disqualified for 180 days to a year if it's your first violation. If it's your second violation, it will be 2 to 5 years within that 10-year period. And then if you have 3 or more violations within a 10-year period, then you will be disqualified for 3 to 5 years. Now, other driver disqualifications is the railroad highway grade crossing violations. If you do not follow the railroad highway crossing regulations, then you can be disqualified from driving a commercial motor vehicle if you have 1 or more of the following railroad highway crossing violations: by if you fail to slow down and checking the road tracks, if you do not stop before the railroad crossing, so if the tracks are not clear, and if you're failing to stop before driving on the crossing, not having enough space to cross safely, not obeying traffic control device and enforcement officials, or if you're not having the undercarriage or clearance to even go to that railroad crossing, then you'll be disqualified from driving a commercial motor vehicle. Hey, BET Trainer here. Listen, if you really had true value out of this video, go ahead and click that like button and share some honest comments about this video, because this is going to help other people as well see the video and get the value information, so that way they can be inspired by what you're doing right now as well. So also, if you want to get the latest updates, go ahead and click the subscribe button, so then you can be able to always be updated on the next instant video that will be put out. So again, go ahead and do that. And this video was sponsored by BET Life Services and CDL for Life.